Welcome everybody. Just before we get started in the formalities of our AGM, I just want to advise up front, I know many of you were looking forward to Kyle Dudley's presentation today. Kyle's the CEO of the 2023 Canada Game Society, and unfortunately Kyle is just recently notified us that he's unable to attend due to an urgent matter. So we will look forward to rescheduling Kyle's presentation at a later date. I know that 2023 Canada Games is a huge event for our region, and there's all kinds of optimism and inspiration for the sector with that event. So we'll gladly look forward to rescheduling Kyle when the opportunity comes. So with that, we will stick to the script, I guess, with our formal AGM process today. So I will officially call the meeting to order. Again, for anybody who doesn't know me, my name is Matt Moore. I'm the chair of the board of directors of the Event Atlantic Society. And with your approval, I'll continue as chair of this meeting, and I'll ask Stephanie Turner. Stephanie's our engagement and support coordinator for Event Atlantic, and she'll act as secretary for the meeting. Stephanie will also act as scrutineer to report on the number of members present as this meeting, and she'll calculate the votes on the ballots cast at this meeting. Just a couple of housekeeping items too. I know it's not the first virtual AGM for many of you, but I will remind everyone that the meeting is being recorded. Motions will be put forth using the chat feature on the polling feature here on Zoom. And a friendly reminder that only members of Event Atlantic Society are able to vote. The notice of the meeting was put forth to all members, and copies related to the materials are available in the AGM packages, and they were sent to you digitally. So I do appreciate everybody taking the time and joining us here today, and I'll turn it over to Stephanie, our scrutineer.
Hi, everybody. The scrutineer report shows that there are 17 people present at the meeting authorized to cast a ballot.
All right, just for quorum, since the requisite quorum of members is present, I declare that this meeting is duly constituted for the transaction of business. And the agenda for this meeting is in your AGM package. May I have a motion to accept the agenda?
One second, there we go, the chat. There we go. Paul, and by Aaron, or seconded by Aaron, sorry.
Motion by Paul, seconded by Aaron. Any discussion? All in favor?
Paul should be up there.
Any objections?
Just hold tight, just waiting for the final votes to come through. All in favor and no opposed.
Great, thank you. I declare the agenda approved. On to the approval of the minutes of the AGM that we had hosted back in July 23rd of 2020. The minutes of the AGM are included in your package as well. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Moved by Jen Shabib, sorry. Seconded.
I'll second. Tanya Haywood.
Okay, seconded by Tanya. And all in favor or opposed? And a couple more. And all in favor and no opposed.
Thank you. I declare the minutes of the 2020 AGM meeting approved. So the first item up for business was just our chair's report here. And I know for many within the sector, it's been a very awkward year, a lot of unknowns, a lot of inconsistencies across each province. However, I'm pleased to report that during the past year, we reached an all-time high of 93 members for Event Atlantic. And you can see there's been some positive progress throughout the past year, with membership growth starting at 63 members to a gain of 23 members and continuing on up another 8 new members. And we're starting to see a lot more balance across the Pan-Atlantic region, where in the past there'd be 1 or 2 provinces that were primarily responsible for our membership growth. And it's great to see all provinces begin to take part. So appreciate that. Some of you may also recall and have actually participated in a great partnership Event Atlantic Society and Event Nova Scotia had created last fall, where we hosted 7 sessions that we branded as the Atlantic Huddle. And it was a great opportunity for us to navigate through the challenges of the pandemic together, and it really enabled us to share best practice. We had a great turnout of 133 unique attendees, and through a great contribution from Events Nova Scotia, we were able to support 10 local businesses throughout this initiative. Again, thank you for your support, and hopefully we'll see the continuation of that partnership in the months to come. So this is just a quick slide to show you sort of a snapshot of the past year. I know it was last March, we went through a bit of a pause on memberships, and we didn't see memberships really reactivated until last fall. It gave us an opportunity to have some in-person strategic planning sessions amongst our board, as well as develop a bit of a resource page for members on our website. A huge highlight for us was really focused on strengthening our partnerships with all 4 maritime provinces. We're fortunate to be able to secure some funding from all 4 provinces, as well as ACOA's Tourism Atlantic division, that enabled us to appoint a consultant to begin the process of revitalizing the Event Atlantic strategic plan. And I'm sure many of you have participated in the consultation that's been ongoing with the appointment of MRSB to support the strategic plan development. We were also fortunate to develop a new project to really highlight the sector and highlight the great economic impact that major event hosting and attraction makes. We created the Event Atlantic Excellence Awards program, and we're looking forward to honoring those unique partners and individuals at the upcoming summit in person, hopefully, in Halifax later this fall. All right, so moving ahead, I'm going to send the mic over to our treasurer, Bobby Dupre. The next item up for business is the financial report.
Thank you, Matt. Everyone should have a copy of my report, the balance sheet, as well as your income statement within your package itself. But the 2020 Event Atlantic Society fiscal year closed on a positive note with a surplus of $1,582 and change, which is being reported today. It is down from 2020, in which we reported $89.67 and change. And we can all correlate this directly back to COVID-19 as a reduction from the 2019 Event Atlantic financial statements, as we didn't host a conference in 2020, which is a direct result of lower incomes, as well as we had lower grants and contributions coming in through. So membership revenue was down, but that, as Matt alluded to earlier, that was, can be related to the suspension for 170 days of our membership program as well. That dropped from $57.70 to $42.76 in 2020. Although COVID did wreak some havoc, we did start the fiscal year with a strong bank account of $9,977 and change in the business account. So just wanted to touch on a few key notes and items from 2020. is that, you know, our memberships, as I mentioned and alluded to, were put on hold for 170 days. So we did see a reduction there. Our conference revenues were zero, but since we didn't host a conference, our expenses were also zero as well. And our grants and contributions kind of led to $6,500 of incoming revenue as well. So on the expense side, as you go down through, under accounting and legal, just kind of give you an idea, those were our bookkeeper's fees for 2020. Under admin and coordination, those were our staff costs for the fiscal year. Advertising relates directly to web fees and our FAME membership. Business and licenses, straightforward, self-explanatory, same as interest and bank charges. We did have some office expenses, which include our software subscription to Zoom, as well as general office supplies. PayPal fees, you know, so every time we pay our memberships, fees do get charged back to us. So we do have expenses there. Under courier and postage, we're going to go crazy here, and those are stamps for snail mail. And then we had one outreach mission as well as our in-person board meeting last summer. So those were the expenses under travel and meals. So those are directly related to those in-person meetings as well as the mission that was sent out as well. So ending it off, you know, during a year in which many of our event and hospitality industry has been under a lot of stress, the Event Atlantic Society has remained financially stable, working directly with our industry partners. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I know we're all starting to experience that now. We're seeing some restrictions being dropped and what forth, but we look forward to getting back to the events we know and the events that we love. Very much appreciate everybody. I'll now ask for a motion approving the financial statements for 2020.
I motion to approve. Tanya Haywood.
Okay, and seconded by Wayne. And just pull here. All in favor, none opposed.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. The next item is the approval of the acts of the directors. So our objective here is to pass a resolution of our members approving the acts and roles and responsibilities of our directors and officers of Event Atlantic Society during the previous year. I'd like to ask a member to make such a motion.
Moved by Wayne Long. Need a second.
I'll second it, Brody.
And in favor or opposed? All in favor, none opposed.
That's great. Everyone's cruising right along through the agenda. The next item are bylaw amendments. We did have a great opportunity to reflect. I know Event Atlantic is only 5 years young, so there were some amendments that we've put forward. The proposed amendments can be viewed on the screen as well as in the package that was submitted. I'll now ask for a motion approving the proposed amendment to bylaw 10.
I'll motion it, Matt. Jen.
Seconder.
James.
Any discussion? All in favor and none opposed.
Thank you. I'll now ask for a motion approving the proposed amendment to bylaw 37.
Jennifer, and seconded by
Tanya?
Excuse me.
Any discussion?
I'd like to ask a question on that if I could, Stephanie.
Sure.
I'm not a policy wonk by nature, and this might seem a bit pedantic, but I had two questions and perhaps an amendment if the other members are interested. In 37A, it says the president shall be appointed to a one-year term. I wonder if the word appointed should be elected, and if we're not wanting to change it to elected, if it should just determine or be noted in there appointed by whom. And then I question the one-year term, as Matt mentioned, we're 5 years old, and as we're trying to come out of COVID, that perhaps it might make more sense to have a little more consistency, ability, and to have the president serve for 2 years, especially where it's noted further in that paragraph that a retiring president is still eligible for reappointment. So those were just two things I wanted to raise.
Yeah, I think the focus with this amendment from our board was certainly to ensure that there's more transfer of knowledge from one term of chairperson to the next. And although currently only 1 year appointment as chair is required, we felt that with the I guess the follow-up to that term with an additional ex officio role as past chair, it would still enable that opportunity to transfer knowledge for 2 years.
I think that also kind of why we decided on the 1 year term was because the a regular term for a board member is 2 years, and we didn't want somebody. We didn't feel that somebody new coming in should automatically be president. They should probably have that 1 year gap to kind of learn before they decided to maybe become president or sit as chair. And then by the time your 2 year term is over, like there's only that 1 year that you could actually be chair. If that makes sense.
And of course, the reasoning for the ex officio role as well was just to ensure that there was a balance between representation of all 4 provinces, and that it wasn't weighted to one province to potentially have 3 board members at the table.
Matt, is it not as well in our bylaws that the board itself elects the chair or appoints the chair?
Yes. Yeah, the board appoints the chair.
So maybe to the first part of Aaron's point, for sure, it should say the president shall be appointed by the board. At least that deals with that one, and then I'll let Aaron have further discussion on the remainder.
No, that's fine, everyone. I noticed that, and it just struck me the appointed rather than elected, and you've given legitimate reasons as to why it should be a 1 year term. So I'm fine with that.
Any other discussion or?
Well, did we want to change the wording in to say that the board will appoint the president? Shall be appointed by the board. If so, we'll require a motion to put that forward for the amendment and a seconder as well.
Well,
So
I would make that motion if that seems to be what people are interested in, although I do think it should be elected, not appointed by the board.
Certainly.
So the new language that we would put forward for an approved motion would be the president shall be elected to a 1 year term by the board. The president shall.
Yes.
I'm fine with that. However, to Wayne's point, does it meet the bylaws then or match the bylaws? Or in it, or is this what we're changing? Is this the area where it does say that, or does it need to be changed?
I believe it's in that space. So it would just amend that space in the bylaw. It's not anywhere else.
Okay. So we have a,
So we need a
So it's Aaron, your first point would be that that it matched the wording in the bylaws. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes,
Yeah.
of course.
So we're moving forward with that amendment to the amendment.
So for clarity, you just restate what
amendment.
the amendment is, so we know what we're voting on?
Sure. Just for clarity, we're looking for a motion to approve amendment proposed on 37A on screen and in your package, that the president shall be elected to a one-year term by the Event Atlantic Board of Directors. The president shall retire from this position at the end of each annual general meeting, whereafter their successor's appointment will be selected by the directors. The retiring president shall be eligible for reappointment. We have a motion to accept the amendment to the draft amendment.
Jen Shabib will motion that.
Second.
Bobby will.
Okay, so all in favor and none opposed.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate your feedback there, Aaron. The election of directors is next on our agenda. The next item of business will be passed forward to Jennifer Shabib to complete the election of directors.
Thanks, Matt. The Event Atlantic Society is governed by a board of directors of 8 with a makeup of 2 representatives of the 4 Atlantic provinces. After confirmation of returning board members and a review of vacancies, a call for nominations was issued for available board seats. Following the call for nominations, it has been determined that an election is required for Newfoundland and Nova Scotia. The positions requiring an election in Newfoundland and Nova Scotia are for 2-year terms. In your AGM package, there were bios for each of the 4 candidates who put their names forward. Before we begin the voting process, I do need to ask if there are any other nominations from the floor at this time. First pass, are there any other nominations? Second, are there any other nominations? Third, are there any other nominations? Stephanie, have we had any feedback?
Nope.
Okay, we will begin then with Newfoundland. Please submit your choice. A vote will pop up on your screen and Stephanie will tally the vote.
Just waiting on a couple more.
Okay.
There's just one more to come in. And Tanny Haywood.
Thank you, Stephanie. I'd like to congratulate Tanya Haywood on your successful election. Welcome to the team once again. I now ask, sorry, Zoom. I now ask you to submit your choice for Nova Scotia, please. Please submit your choice with the polling that's now presented on screen. Candidates are Chris Gross and Matt Moore.
And it's Matt Moore.
Okay, Thank you both. Thank you, Stephanie. I'd like to congratulate Matt on your successful reelection. I propose the following slate of directors for the next 2 years. Bobby Dupree, New Brunswick. Tanya Hayward, Newfoundland and Labrador. Matt Moore for Nova Scotia. Emma McKenzie, Prince Edward Island. And Paul McDonald from Nova Scotia for an upcoming year. You can see the candidates or the members of the new and returning board members are on your screen. May I have a motion to approve the proposed slate of directors of the Event Atlantic Society, please?
Moved by Aaron Kennedy.
Second.
By Wayne, yeah. Any discussion? All in favor? Any objections?
We have 19 in favor and 1 opposed.
Okay,
I had to get in there somehow.
so I declare the following individuals: Bobby Dupree, Tanya Hayward, Matt Moore, Emma McKenzie, and Paul McDonald to be duly elected directors of the Event Atlantic Society, commencing this date, June 16, 2021. They will be joining returning board members Denis LeBlanc, Seamus O'Keefe, and Wayne Long. That concludes this portion of it. Back to you, Stephanie. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Jen. Just want to take a moment of appreciation for Stephanie. As many of you know, Stephanie's known as the glue of our organization, has been doing some heavy lifting throughout the recovery period here of the pandemic. And I'm sure you can all agree that we're looking forward to this light that we're beginning to see at the end of the tunnel, and look forward to getting back into the tradition of being together for our AGM meeting. And hopefully we'll see everybody in Halifax later on this fall when we are able to relaunch our registration packages. Any further business to be brought forward for the meeting here today? If there's no further business for the meeting, I ask for a motion to conclude.
I motion that. Tanya?
Seconder?
Seconded, Bill Spearman.
Final poll for the day. And all in favor? None opposed.
That's great. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. Again, we had anticipated Kyle to do a wonderful presentation here to close out the session, and we'll reconnect with Kyle and share a new date with all of you. And we wish you all a wonderful summer, and look forward to sharing the next steps in regards to the reactivation of the Event Atlantic Summit. Great. Take care, everybody.